Rajanbhai, is 3:30. Can we start? You're muted. Rajanbhai, 3:30. Can we start?
Rajanbhai, you are on mute.
Sushil, please tell the president of IMC to start.
Can you hear me, sir?
I think there's some problem with Raj. Yeah, Rajivji, I think you can start.
You can hear me, but
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, I
okay.
didn't get that.
I'm sorry. I don't know. There's some problem logging in, sir.
Is it?
Yeah.
We are able to hear you, Rajivji, but we are not able to see you.
He's got locked out there. Sushil, he's got logged out.
He will try again, I believe.
Yeah, now I'm audible?
Yes, you are. And we can see
Okay,
you
sir.
also.
Sorry,
We can see you.
apologies. There was a technological problem. I apologize for the same. With your permission, I'll start, sir.
Surely, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Sorry for that. Respected Patanjali Jhaji, Miss Lekha Kumari ji, Mr. Abhay Damle ji, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to today's webinar on the Direct Tax Vivad se Vishwas Act for Dispute Resolution. In wake of the motto of the government to enhance ease of doing business, promote a non-adversarial tax regime, maintain a tax-friendly atmosphere, and looking at the success of Sabka Vishwas scheme announced earlier for indirect tax laws, the Direct Tax Vivad se Vishwas Act 2020 was introduced. Some of the key features of the scheme are: the scheme can be availed by taxpayers to settle the appeals relating to tax areas, including interest and penalty levied in respect, therefore granting complete immunity from prosecution and substantial relief from payment of interest and penalty. Being web-based, it is easily accessible to the taxpayers as well as the department. According to the government estimates, there are more than 4 lakh such cases eligible to avail of the scheme, involving 9.3 trillion rupees. But as on November 17th, the government had collected 72,480 crores through the scheme. A total of 45,855 declarations were filed during the scheme, involving disputed tax demands of 31,734 crores as on mid-November. There are various areas and issues on which taxpayers are keen to get further clarity. One of the main issues being with the appeals process going faceless from September onwards. There is no jurisdiction for the Commissioner of IT Appeals or CIT Appeals to approve the withdrawal request. This has sprung a unique challenge for the CBDT. IMC has made detailed representation in this regard, and we are sure we would get clarification soon from CBDT. In order to appraise the stakeholders of the scheme and with a view to assist the government to make the scheme a large success, the IMC's Directed Tax Committee under Mr. Rajan Vora, jointly with Mumbai Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mumbai Chartered Accountants Society, and Chamber of Direct Consultants, has organized a panel discussion with the representatives from the tax department to explain the scheme and to clarify the practical difficulties arising of the implementation of the scheme. I welcome our esteemed speakers for the webinar today, Mr. Patanjali Jha, Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Mumbai, Ms. Lekha Kumar, Chief Commissioner of Income Tax 5, Mumbai, Mr. Abhay Damle, Principal Commissioner of Income Tax, Central 1, Mumbai. I would like to thank you all for being with us and giving us the opportunity to present issues faced by the taxpayers. Once again, I welcome you all to this interesting event. I'm sure you'll go back enriched. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Rajan Bhai.
Abhay, can you take it over? Abhay?
Yeah, sure. Respected panelists, Mr. Patanjali Jha, Ms. Lekha Kumar, and Mr. Abhay Damle. Respected moderator and past president of BCAS, Mr. Rajan Vora. Dignitaries of the other hosting organizations. Chairman of Taxation Committee of BCAS, Mr. Amit Patel, and dear friends. Vivad se Vishwas Scheme 2020 is an attempt by the government to put an end to pending tax disputes, thereby decongesting the judiciary from direct tax litigation matters to a great extent. CBDT has made all-out efforts through various outreach initiatives to ensure success of the scheme. As a part of this initiative, the 4 Mumbai-based professional and commerce bodies have come together to enable participants to understand the scheme better and have clarity on various issues relating to the scheme. At BCS, we have been proactive to make representations before government bodies for the difficulties faced by the professionals, businesses, and public at large. BCS is the oldest body of CA professionals and is a principle-centric organization. We have panelists and moderator who are to bring greater clarity on the scheme, and without taking much of the time, I request President of Chamber of Tax Consultants, Mr. Anish Thakkar, to introduce the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abhay Bhai. A warm welcome to all the 3 distinguished panelists, as well as the office bearers of the other hosting organizations, other dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. We from the Chamber of Tax Consultants extend a very, very warm welcome to each one of you. Just one line about the Chamber, that the Chamber was founded in 1926 and therefore it is a 94-year young organization. And the unique thing about the Chamber is that it is a homogeneous body of tax professionals. Every tax professional, irrespective whether he's a chartered accountant, a cost accountant, a company secretary, an advocate, or a tax practitioner, can become member of the Chamber. So on behalf of the Chamber, we once again extend a very warm welcome to everybody. It is my privilege to introduce our 3 very distinguished panelists. May I introduce Mr. Patanjali Jha first? Mr. Patanjali Jha is a graduate has a master's degree in economics from the Delhi School of Economics. He worked earlier in the service in Mumbai from April 1997 to May 2007, and has a very long and very heartfelt association with the city of Mumbai. And presently he is posted as the Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax here in Mumbai. We've had the good fortune of having Patanjali sir as one of our panelists, and we really were very happy with the way his answers were very crisp and to the point. So thank you very much, sir, for joining this panel discussion. The second panelist is Ms. Lekha Kumar. She's an alumnus of the 90s, not an alumnus, she's from the 1987 batch of the IRS. She again holds a master's degree in economics from the Delhi School of Economics. She was promoted as Chief Commissioner of Income Tax in 2019. And before she was here in Mumbai, she has been Principal CIT3 Baroda DG Systems and has a whole host of achievements to her name in the department. Abhay Damle sir, our 3rd panelist, Principal Commissioner of Income Tax Central 1 Mumbai, has the distinction of being born on Independence Day. He was born on 15th of August 1966. He belongs to the city of Bhopal. He is a mechanical engineer from the NIT of Bhopal. He then went on to do his master's in production technology from IIT Delhi in 1989. He also has a law degree. He has the distinction of having worked for not only the Indian Railways for a brief period of time, but also the Central Institute of Road Technology in Pune. And he's worked on policy matters relating to road safety, emissions, etc. And of course, he's also a very, very active sportsman and has played cricket at the university level. We once again, on behalf of all the 4 organizations, welcome our 3 distinguished panelists. May I hand over the proceedings to Rajan Bhai to take the proceedings forward. Rajan Bhai, the chairman of the Direct Tax Committee of the IMC. Of course, he is my one of my gurus, my seniors. But he needs no introduction. He is probably one of the most prominent tax professionals. So I will not even take I wouldn't even go to introducing him to this audience. Everybody knows him. Rajan Bhai, the floor is yours, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anish. I think today our guests are 3 speakers, and I'm not the guest. I'm part of the host, so no need of introducing me, and no need. And if we can't be introduced, or if we don't know our professional brothers, I think that will not be appropriate. Also, thank you, Anish, for kind introduction of all of the speakers. Since all our distinguished speakers have been well introduced, I do not want to spend time. Friends, as we are saying, this is one of the prime scheme for dispute resolution introduced by the government. Because of unfortune of the pandemic and COVID-19, situation had suddenly become difficult. Nothing was moving for last 6 months. I was just later when telling Patanjali sir, the first was organized by us in 19th of March. Then we had to cancel it and postpone it to again October, again to December. So this is what is happening. So therefore, we are here now. And after the clarifications which were received on 4th of December, we felt this is the right time. And immediately we approached Patanjali sir and Lekha madam. And then they were very kindly consented to join us and give clarifications, whatever could be possible. One of the difficulties which we faced was, since the budget process is on, we could not get any of the dignitaries or officials from the CBDT because of the protocols and because of the restrictions on their participating in public meetings. But we have 3 eminent speakers with us, and I'm sure all our practical difficulties at our level, Bombay level, will be definitely resolved. And if there is anything, they are always open for clarifying the issues. Friends, as all of us are aware, so this scheme, as we mentioned, this is one of the best scheme which has been introduced in the recent time for dispute resolution. As our President of the IMC mentioned, there are, as was announced by the Finance Minister, there are 4,83,000 crore cases are locked up in the litigation. 4,83,000 crore rupees are locked up in the litigation in 9.32 crore cases. If we see the statistics which was given by the Revenue Secretary as of 3rd of November, there are 1,19,000 crores have been settled in VSV, out of which 1,05,000 crores have been from PSU, promised from the PSU, and there are 14,000 crores have been promised from the private sector. This is a number as of 3rd of November. I'm sure that must be considerable improvement. And as Patanjali sir was saying, definitely after today's clarification, there will be further improvement in the applications being received by the Income Tax Department for the purpose of friends. The way we have structured is there will be more questions which are going to be asked to them based on what questions have been compiled from the questions which were received from our participants and from the various organizations. So we have compiled, but only we have restricted the questions which are useful for the practical side and not for the policy making, because we have too late now for any policy making changes. And so therefore we felt that we'll restrict ourselves to only administrative issues or practical issues which can help us to expedite the process in remaining 14 or 15 days which are left for the I was also mentioning to Patanjali sir, is it not that since things have started moving just now, after the gap of almost 9 months, because last clarification was issued on 4th of March, Thereafter, after 9 months, we received a second set of clarifications. Now things are little warming up or gearing up, but there are too many deadlines happening in December. So is it not appropriate that we need to give some more time for all of us to get this sorted out, get the full clarified, and then advise the client, so that at least they will also feel happy and they will be absolutely satisfied before they go and go for a VSV. Because as we have seen from the numbers, only private sector, only 43,000 cases have come. So out of the, if we say the numbers of 9.32 crores cases, if only 43,000 cases of private sector have come, I think that may not be sufficient number for the department to say that we have achieved great relief. Amount which is recovered is mainly from the PSUs. I think PSU is debit credit of the account. Say whether it goes from PSU to government or government to PSU really does not make a difference. But when it comes from private sector, I think that is very important. So therefore, we have made already represented Patanjali sir. But anyway, whatever way it comes, we'll be happy to complete in whatever is possible in next 14-15 days. But if it happens, I think which will be much better. So as per the program, now I'll request Patanjali sir and Lekha madam to say a few words about the scheme and how Income Tax Department is geared up to take up the applications and how do you solve the queries. And then Damle sir will also mention. And post that, we have a lot of questions which are received. As I mentioned, we'll flash those questions and our guests will reply to those questions. If time permits, if there are any questions, please feel and put it in the chat box. If we get time, we'll definitely address those questions. But if we can't, then at least we'll forward it to the Chief Commissioner's office, and then they will try to get the resolution for that purpose. I had also requested Patanjali sir, at least if some clinics are open or at this respective charges or respective building, so whoever has some difficulty, they can approach that cell of the VSV cell and get on the spot clarification either virtually or physically. If that is done, next 14-15 days are crucial days, so that will also be helpful. With this pretty background, may I request Patanjali sir to come and address, and then Lekha madam to come and address. Patanjali
Yes,
sir.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vora. Thank you, IMC, for giving us the opportunity to bring the nitty-gritties of this scheme. And together, I'm sure this is one scheme, as Mr. Vora rightly pointed out, is unprecedented in its reach and its scope. Such a scheme has never been brought about. This clearly shows the intention of the government, as one of the speakers earlier said, in terms of ease of doing business, in terms of dispute resolution. So the scheme primarily basically is there to reduce the disputed tax demand pending before various appellate fora, be it CIT appeal, ITAT, High Court, Supreme Court, and to save the time, energy, and resources of all concerned, the taxpayer as well as the government. So much so that prior to coming to Mumbai, I was DG investigation in Bangalore. And with my team, I was very clear. And in Bangalore, you have, you also had the central as well as the investigation wing. So we always thought that the best way to mobilize even the revenues in the cases of the search cases were to actively send the taxpayers to the settlement commission. Friends, here is a scheme which is much, much better than the settlement commission. Here, what you need to pay is only the disputed tax without going to any settlement commission, no interest charged, no penalty, and no prosecution. Stunning. Absolutely, post-independence, such a scheme has never been implemented, never envisaged, never came into existence. So further, if there is a dispute where the issue is in your favor, you have to pay only 50% of the disputed amount. So much so that even the search cases, smaller search cases where below 5 crore can also come under the scheme. Of course, the expected tax from them is 125%, but no penalty, no prosecution. Any cases where the penalty has been confirmed, any cases where the issue is in favor of the department before the High Court or before the Supreme Court, all these cases, So practically every dispute under this thing, barring a few exceptions, which we'll briefly touch, is covered under the Act. So here is an opportunity where the government is very keen in order to bring the rank of ease of doing business of the country. As far as earlier speaker said, that for GST there was already a scheme which was quite successful, and here is a scheme for related to the direct taxes, which again would be putting us in very good stead, and we would have a clean slate of demand from where without wasting any resources into litigation, we can move on in doing our business. So seeing the broader picture, naturally it has to be implemented in the same way. So far, two major sets of FAQs have been answered. Again, they have been very responsive so far, and I still feel, Mr. Vora, that despite the budget, still we can hope to perhaps get, in case if it desires, the attention of the CVDT, that we would have to keep it in mind. To be specific, when Mr. Vora made a request, we really appreciated it. We were going to perhaps come out with a scheme later than, but since from his suggestion, we have implemented a cell, which comprises of our headed by Chief Commissioner, Mr. Omkareshwar Chidara. He is the CC Central, holding both the charges of Central, and Mr. Damle is here. Amrita Ranjan, she's a CIT in the International Taxation. Rajesh Kumar, so he's a CIT Appeal. Sarvanan, additional CIT range, Central Range. Kailash Gaikwad, again another additional CIT. Ujjwal Kumar, N. Padmanabhan, and P. Satyas Prasad. So from TP, from IT, from CIT Appeal, from Central, and we all are always there. So we have a VSVS 2020 Mumbai@gmail.com is what we have opened, and a WhatsApp number also, which we will circulate. All these things where we welcome any clarification, any query, which we can sort out together. We can work out the modalities. What should be the appropriate thing? Obviously, we have our constraints and limitations. You would understand that. But the scheme ultimately is something very simple. Let's not complicate this. So it is here, which is it is more to resolve the dispute than create further disputes. So keeping the spirit of the scheme in mind, I would really want you all to come clean wherever. And just imagine the scope of this scheme. The penny stock cases, the bogus capital gain cases, which I term, while addressing our departmental officers, I term them as something which are logical cases. They have to come. There is no way that they can be anything other than the fact that if they have run short on all money or something. These are the logical cases which have to come under the scheme, irrespective of their status of the appeal. Similarly, in every city there are some scams which happen every 5 years, 10 years. So one entry lender, one entry provider, bogus capital gain, and which would have a ramification among several thousand taxpayers. They all, this is a golden opportunity to finish even disputes of this kind, and come and ultimately, mind you, this is a year, post-COVID year, when the nation wants the resources, and here is a kind of a resource which is good for the taxpayer, which is good for the department, which is good for the country. With these, I would pass this thing to Lekha. She incidentally is a batchmate. We both are from the same class of Delhi School of Economics. Yeah, Lekha.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Patanjali. The broad parameters of the scheme have already been covered. The intention of the government is very clear. I think the opening address took care of it, the ease of doing business, the non-adversarial tax regime, and also in a great way to help the taxpayers to end their tax disputes with the department, get the benefit of no interest, no penalty, and no prosecution, most important of all. It would also help the government in the meanwhile, because as earlier speakers have already pointed out, a lot of money is locked up in these appeals, and because of litigation the collection is not happening in toto. So the disputed direct tax arrears of almost 9.32 lakh crores are locked up as on 30th November 2019, the government has said. And if you see the collection of one particular year, it was at 18-19 we collected 11.37 lakhs. So this was also stated. So the amount of taxes which are locked up in these appeals is almost equivalent to our annual tax collection of direct taxes. And more than 5 lakh cases are there. So around 4.8 5 lakh cases are there in all these disputes. So we would be very keen to settle, and government would also benefit greatly, because it would generate timely revenues. Once we are closing the dispute, we are also getting some collection instead of locking up indefinitely long number of years. So it's also a great way of benefiting the government, while the taxpayer has the great advantage of reduced litigation costs, reduced time spent on such litigation, reduced efforts. So it's like a win-win-win situation. Every stakeholder here would end up benefiting from this exercise. So this is a golden opportunity. I would request everyone to take only 15 more days, barely I think 4 weeks, to 14 days, in fact, not even 15 days are left. Not much time is there. So therefore, I would appeal to all of you to seriously consider this. Very quickly, if you can put in your applications and take the benefit of the scheme. One question that was raised by Rajiv ji right in the beginning, I would like to have a little input on that. He said that the proof of withdrawal of appeal is required, I think, while uploading form 4. And right now, because of the faceless, the conversion of the appellate system into the faceless one, there has been some issue as to from where do the assessees send their request for a withdrawal of appeal. So in that, we have already, of course, sought clarification from the board. But in the meantime, while it comes in writing, I would like to just give you some input. We have spoken. And so what is happening here is, supposing if your appeal is there and even a single hearing has taken place in your appeal, then on your assessee's e-filing portal, that would appear that the appeal, that one hearing which has taken place, it would appear, and that is where you can go and put in your request for withdrawal of appeal. So this is in those cases whose appeal is visible on their e-filing portal. They can file their request for withdrawal of appeal at that place. Secondly, in case that is not there in your case, I will be sharing with Rajanji a few email IDs, NFAC. So the National Faceless Appellate Center that has been created in New Delhi, which becomes the focal point for all the appeals, and that is the faceless interaction forum for all the appeals. And they, like in faceless e-assessment, the Faceless Appellate Center is going to be distributing the appeals. So we are sharing with you 3 email IDs where you can send in that request for withdrawal of appeal, and it will be sent to the person having jurisdiction over your appeal. So that is delhi.pccit.nfac@incometax.gov.in, then delhi.cit.nfac@incometax.gov.in, and delhi.addl additional CIT.nfac@incometax.gov.in. We'll share with Rajanji and you can circulate it. I hope it is useful for you. And we are very hopeful that in the remaining time, because everything is technology driven, and in Corona times we are playing very safe. Being online, we want you to be safe. Best is that so my officers are continuously conducting webinars, reaching out through letters, through emails, through SMSs. So any clarification, any specific case has any issues, of course, now Principal CC has also set up this panel to handle all your queries, and 48 hours is the turnaround time, so you'll get a very quick reply from them. And in any case, let's say even your own additional commissioner, the jurisdictional commissioner, PCIT, or your AO, they were all well versed with the different aspects of the scheme, and they would be able to guide you. And in case they are not able to handle the query, they will escalate the matter. So we are all there for you, and wish you all the best in the coming times. I hope you take advantage of this scheme. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Abhay, you would like to share some preliminary thoughts before we go to the question and answer?
Yeah. So thank you, Rajanji. Just already context has been set by the previous speakers and Mr. Patanjali and Madam Lekha Kumar. I would just like to add one point, that this is perhaps a golden handshake scheme, and this is how it should be treated. It's one of the best thing where, especially the earlier years, the kind of interest that we have seen is mind-boggling, and the kind of benefit people are getting is amazing. So probably at the cost of litigation, which perhaps may go generation long or at least a decade long, this is one of the best option which has been provided, and it should be lapped up to buy peace for the future generations. At least that is the way I look at it. Having handled few, rather not few, large number of VSV applications, I've seen just a couple of very recurring mistakes, which I have found, and most of the participants here being chartered accountants and tax consultants. I just wanted to flag two simple points, that please do not mention the tax payments, whatever you have made the complete tax payment for the year. That is something which is often found, that the tax payment should be only in respect of the disputed issue. What I have seen is that the disputed issue perhaps may be about a crore rupees worth of it, and whereas the returned income was 10 crore and the tax payment to the extent of 4 crore have been shown, and the liability only with regard to 1 crore. So whether it is a mistake or whether it is an intentional commission or omission, I leave it to you. But please take care of this issue. This has been found in more than adequate numbers, I would say. So this is something which should be absolutely avoided. And I would also like to flag, in few cases where prosecutions have been filed, people are still filing the applications. So this is something where, and the search cases, especially the year in which the search is conducted, it is reflected as a non-search year. These are few very recurring issues which are cropping up. So, and these are the issues which should be taken note of. Just before I end, I would like to flag section 4, subsection 6 of the VSV Act, which says that if any particulars are provided in a wrong fashion or wrong manner, then even retrospectively the application may be treated as invalid. So just getting a form 3 or form 5 on the basis of incorrect facts may not be, probably it would lead to further litigation, as Patanjali Sahab said, that we don't want to create more disputes, we want to resolve disputes. So these are few issues which I would just like to highlight at the opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Damle sir. So now we have received, as I mentioned, a lot of questions. So those are tabulated, and I would request our panelists to ask the question to our guests. So they will try to answer those questions. We have already shared the questions with them. May I invite Sushil to start with first two questions, please, Sushil?
Yeah, sure. Rajan Bhai, a warm welcome to our three distinguished panelists, and we really thank them for having accepted this to address us. Now, sir, the first question is about delayed appeals. Now, in delayed appeals, there is an FAQ 59 in your circular of 4th December 2020, which clarified that if the time limit for filing the appeal has expired during the period up to 31st Jan 2020, and the application for condonation is filed before the date of this circular, that is 4th of December 2020, and if the appeal is admitted by the appellate authority before the date of filing of declaration, such appeal will be deemed to be pending as of 31st January 2020. Now, the issue arises, sir, because as we are all aware, the CIT appeals are not functioning since March 2020, and now faceless appeals have started. Accordingly, there will be hardly any cases where the condonation application would have been admitted by this date. So how do you deal with such cases, considering that the last date to file the declaration is now 31st of December 2020?
Let me handle this.
Okay. Yeah.
So in these cases, actually the cutoff is already been decided, no? That the 4th of December, you have to have got your condonation of delay prior, I mean, filed your condonation or application prior to 4th of December. So only those cases who have already filed that would get the benefit of this particular clarification. And
No, so the condition about that having been admitted, the appeal having been admitted by the appellate authority before the declaration. Now that cannot be satisfied. We may have filed a condonation, but that does not mean it has been accepted. And that is why the query, like whether there one should how would it be dealt with?
see, that is precisely the clarification that has come. And
Okay.
as of now, that is how it is to be interpreted.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
there is no
So
one
if a
like that,
condonation has been filed, it's good enough.
uh, what it says, the clarification exactly, I'll just read it out, that that the application for condonation is filed before the date of issue of this circular, and the appeal admitted by the appellate authority before the date of filing of the declaration of such appeal. That means that uh, the condonation has to be filed before 4th of December, and it has to be admitted by the appellate authority before the date of filing of the declaration. These are the two things they have
That
mentioned.
is where the issue, madam. So
Yes,
so admitted, because the CIT appeal is not functional. How
yes.
would it be
So,
admitted before 31st of December or
so
before the date of?
you need to write to NFAC again. That
Okay.
NFAC email IDs that I have
Right.
shared with you,
Right.
because now faceless is NFAC right now. So whatever
Right.
issue you have, you direct it at them. The
Right.
specific. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am, only supplementary I can add. As far as the tribunal is concerned, I had met vice president as well as president, and they said if there are any such cases pending, please approach us. We will give it to them in the week's time. They will condone all the delays whichever are there. Depends on the cases. So something of that nature, if it happens, it will be much better, and it will expedite the filing of cases, ma'am.
Yes, we will escalate this issue up to NFAC. In the meantime, same question, I mean, the same situation is with ITAT, High Court and Supreme Court if it is admitted before the
Yeah.
filing of.
Yeah. So one has to make an effort to get it admitted before filing the
Yes,
declaration.
yes.
Okay.
But ITAT has been extended, like
Yeah.
Rajanji said, we are in touch with ITAT members and
Yeah.
Vice President and the President. We have been talking to them, and I think they are extending full support.
Full support.
Right. Right. Thank you. Okay. The next question deals with FAQ 58 of the 4th December circular, which had clarified that if an order under 263 contains general directions and income is not quantifiable, appeal against such an order would not be eligible for VSV. However, if it contains specific directions and income is quantifiable, then such an order is eligible under VSV.
Yeah.
And in such a case, the SSC would be required to settle all the issues which were involved. Now, if the order under 263 has been passed with general or specific directions, the ITIT appeal has been filed by the SSC against such an order before 31st of Jan, and the income is quantifiable, but not yet quantified by the AO, it is quantified only in, let's say, March 2020, that is after the due date, whether such quantification will relate back, and hence whether such an appeal would be eligible.
I think reading from the language of the reply that has come from the CBDT, what the word they are using is quantifiable, not quantified. Therefore, I think if the income is quantifiable as on 31st of January 2020, and it was actually quantified maybe in the month of March,
Later.
it would be applicable.
Okay.
It would be allowed. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds. Thank you. Thank
Reasonable.
you.
Okay.
Amit, can you take the next three questions, please? Amit?
I think now the questions will be taken by Abhay.
Yes. Okay.
So, in some cases, I will explain this query with the help of an example that in the assessment order, say an addition of 10 lakhs was made. A CIT appeal has confirmed 6 lakhs and has given relief for 4 lakhs. And CITA's order has come before 31st January 2020. Unfortunately, the order giving effect to the CIT appeals order has not yet been passed as on the date of filing of the declaration. And the SSC has also filed an appeal before the tribunal after 31st Jan 2020, but before filing of the declaration. So what does one do as far as the order giving effect to CIT appeals order is concerned? Can the settlement be done only in respect of the balance amount which is now disputed before the tribunal? How does one go about calculating, and how will the actual operationally, how will it work?
Part of the question relates to the earlier question where we are talking about the quantifiability. So on the facts of it, the appeal effect can be quantified. So you know what is your component, what is the department's component. If with how much has been decided in the favor of the assessee, how much has been decided in the favor of the department. That is one thing. Now, your assessee is very well aware of that if he wants to proceed before IT80, he knows the component and on which 100% of the tax would be payable. The apprehensions would be with regard to the department, whether department would file appeal on the issues where it has lost. That is one apprehension. So here there are two options. Of course, since the time limit has not expired, therefore, and you want to settle the entire issue, you have an option. I would say it's a positive option for you that if the appeal was pending before CIT appeal, then on entire 10 lakh you would have paid 100% of the tax. Here, what you would be doing is on 6 lakhs, you will be paying 100% of the tax, and on the remaining 4 lakh, you would be paying 50% of the tax. So you are a gainer in a way, and the department appeal, which is possible or likely to be filed, is also settled. That is the way it is to be seen.
Okay. So basically the appellant will have the right to do all these calculations based on the latest order that is there on record.
Yes.
Even if the department has not yet done, not yet sort of taken action.
Yeah, if the time for filing the appeal by the department has not lapsed, in that case, but what I say again is that in case CIT appeal had not passed the order, you would have gone on entire 10 lakhs.
Absolutely.
Paying 100%. Here now you are paying 100% only on the 6 lakhs, and remaining 4 lakhs, you would be paying 50%.
So just to interrupt you, sir, you said that if the time limit for filing of appeal by department has not yet elapsed, then one needs to pay 50% of the tax on the 4 lakhs. But
Yes.
if that time limit has gone by, then you can just do nothing about the 4 lakhs, correct? There's no need to pay anything.
No, it means to be on the safe side, you can always pay the amount to be on the safe side, because department can also file an appeal with condonation of delay. But it would depend on the facts of the case. So I cannot really give a general answer here.
Okay.
But to answer to your question, merely non-giving of the appeal effect would not make any material difference. It is presumed that the demand is only after giving the appeal effect. That is in fairness.
Yes. Fair enough. That's a good way of looking at it. Okay, next question is, in respect of covered matters, that where an appeal is filed before, some appellate authority, and on more than one issue, say 2-3 issues, and one of them is covered by a Supreme Court order or a jurisdictional High Court order, whether in the SS's own case or in any other case, then while computing the disputed tax, whether the covered matter can be excluded or that is also to be settled.
Well, as per, I think FAQ number 37, what it says is the benefit of 50% would apply, or 0% would apply only in the case of assessee's own Supreme Court order. Similar matters to be covered, perhaps as far as we are concerned, we won't be able to give any benefit at this stage. Of course, means if you feel like, you can make a reference to CBDT.
Okay. Okay. And the next question allotted to me is that, an assessment order or an intimation contains certain issues which are, which can be easily rectified under 154. And the application has also been made by the SSC before the AO, but it is not yet disposed of. And now the taxpayer wants to settle the appeal under the VSV. In this case, whether whatever is rectifiable, can the tax liability on that be excluded for the purpose of settlement, or will this is very similar to the earlier ones. In earlier it was about the appeal, now this is about the rectification.
This is one of the most recurring issues. In fact, what you have highlighted. In fact, I also faced many of such cases, but we have been very prompt. Already the assessing officers have been instructed. For almost last 6 months, we are preparing for cleansing of demands, giving all the appeal effects, and also carrying out all the 154 rectifications. Still, if there are some pending cases which remain, we are ensuring that all these 154 are given effect to before issuing Form 3. And we have been, the ball is in our court. Please remember, and we are taking care of it. We take that responsibility.
Okay, thank you. Over to Sunil.
Thank you, Amit Bhai. The next question relates to a common issue which may be in dispute. It is a case where expenditure claim as revenue by the SSE has been treated as capital by the department. And let's assume that in the assessment for that year and in the subsequent years, the depreciation consequentially has not been allowed. Now, suppose the SSE applies for VSV for the first year in a case like this, then would the consequential depreciation be allowed in subsequent years automatically, or would there need to be a specific direction to this effect?
Okay, sir, should I answer? Okay, now there are number of such issues which would arise in the subsequent years on account of the additions made in a particular year and the appeal thereof having been withdrawn. Please appreciate that there will be n number of cases, capital versus revenue, depreciable versus non-depreciable, or certain expenses, or project completion and percentage completion method. There will be n number of such issues which would arise, where the assessment has repercussions on the later year closing stock valuation. So in all these cases, the thumb rule will be that if the appeal has been withdrawn, the impact of VSV would be that the appeal has been withdrawn. If the appeal has been withdrawn, the assessment order stands. The additions made in the assessment order would stand. And when we are saying that the additions made in the assessment orders are standing, then the logical impact for the later years would also continue. So in this particular case, sir, you have mentioned that about the depreciation part. So if some revenue expenditure has been treated as capital expenditure, then obviously the block of asset would have increased or bulged by that particular amount. For the year, the income tax would be there, but for the subsequent years, the depreciation would increase and can be claimed. And AO otherwise also in his assessment, AO would have given the benefits of depreciation in the later year. If not, you can always approach him and get it after VSV.
Thank you for this clarification.
But we have to appreciate that the large impact or the final impact of VSV is that assessment order stands.
Okay, so that is clear. Suppose in case the subsequent years, let us say there is no appeal pending or the rectification is time barred, then what would be the remedy in such timing differences?
Well, there would be, as I said, n number of such possible permutations and combinations. So we will have to really take individual cases, can't really generalize it. But in most of the cases, even if appeal, the assessment or the proceedings or rectification has time barred, perhaps the assessing officer is supposed to take the action on his own for the later years. So he would have taken those actions. That is what we presume.
Right. Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you.
I think the next question is similar, and maybe you already answered that in your early observations. That basically this relates to a consequential issue in the subsequent year if the closing stock is enhanced, whether the opening stock of the next year would be consequentially enhanced.
In fact, this is a live issue which we are facing very often in the cases of builders, and there are few issues where it's percentage completion versus project completion or WIP additions. These are the issues which are cropping up, and still there are 1 or 2 years which are remaining with the assessee, the returns to be filed. So these are the live issues, but as I said, the effect of the assessment order will have to be followed to the logical conclusion, the VSB having been accepted. That is the fundamental thumb rule.
Right, thank you. In fact, sir, this answers this leads to the next question also, which actually concerned the builders and the method of accounting which you mentioned, where the income was offered under project completion method and the AO applied percentage completion method.
Yes.
Yeah, please proceed. No, I was saying lighter vein. So any difficulties of this, we should approach to Abhay Damle sir, and then you will get the solutions.
Right. And the similar would be a question 10, where the SSC has offered income on cash basis and the addition is made on accrual basis. Then subsequent year, presumably, the income would not once again be taxed.
In the lighter vein, again, we have already acted in favor of revenue, and that stands. So I think we are the happiest lot. Patanjali sir, you would like to add something?
No, in the sense that the thumb rule which Damle speaks of, like whether VSV or not, in case if the example of the closing stock and the subsequent opening stock, it is a consequence of the earlier order, and an order which is settled, obviously it is the natural consequence will happen. This is a simpler case. There can be a case which is complicated, but thumb rule is exactly what Damle says, is it will be all other things remaining the same, VSV meaning that this order is enforced, and the consequences, if allowable to the taxpayer, it will be allowed. If not allowable in a normal, within the act, it will not be allowed.
So thank you for that. I think this clarifies. Can Ketan Bhai continue with the next set of questions?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. And thanks to all the distinguished panel members for answering all the questions which we are posing to you. The next question which we are having contemplating in our mind is as regards the 201 versus 40A1 and 40A1A of the Income Tax Act. So as we know, the scheme provides that we have to settle the 201 appeal. So if there are two appeals which are pending, sir, one where the assessee has been treated as assessee in default under section 201, and the other is the disallowance, the corresponding disallowance under 40A1 or 40A1A. Now the scheme provides that we need to pay under 201. That appeal we need to settle. So the question which we have in our mind is that in such a situation, whether that 40A1, the other appeal, whether it will be automatically resolved, or do we have to put in some application or some request for that, or how do we go about it? That is the first question. And one offshoot which occurs to me, in fact, is that in a case where the person has only filed a appeal against the 201 proceedings and not against the 40A1A disallowance. In such a situation, whether it will be possible for the assessee to seek a rectification post settlement under VSV, can he go to the AO and say that please now allow me that allowance, because now I have settled under 201. So how the things will work?
I think FAQ squarely answers this kind of a situation. FAQ 31, it is permitted to move the application under section 154. It will take care of your query. So 154 is clearly applicable wherever you have gone for the 201 or 40A IA. So the specific answer to this is there in FAQ number 31.
Yes. And if I'm settling the 201 appeal, then I don't need to do anything on for settling the 40A1A disallowance. It will be automatically driven, or do I need to make some application?
154 is advisable. That is what the FAQ says.
Yeah, but if the appeal is pending against that disallowance, then in that appeal I will have to that will also get settled automatically, right?
Yes, this is what the FAQ says. As a matter of normally such a specific FAQ has not been answered on other queries, but for this it is available.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir. The next question, sir, which we are having is this. Is in connection with question number 78 of the FAQ, the 4th December circular. It is like this, that in an assessment some addition has been made, and in the reassessment the amount has been probably altered, and naturally once it is a reassessment it will go up, say from 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs. That is the question, right? In such a situation, our question is that do I and I mean appeal against both. I mean appeal against assessment as well as reassessment, maybe at different forums, maybe at same forum. But my question is, in such a situation, do I file form 1 for the original assessment or of the amount of the higher assessment and wait for some time and get the form, the certificate final, and then I proceed for the second application, or both to be done simultaneously? Because now we are, as we say, it's only 14 days now. So how do we proceed about both the two different appeals?
You see, basically it will depend on the facts of the case. Like if the original assessment of 10 lakhs contain the same, which has subsequently been enhanced, and this 15 lakh also includes the 10 lakhs or not. So everything will depend on the.
Yeah. So if we make it a simple proposition, a simple case, so then this one addition was made at 10 lakh rupees, which was then enhanced to 15 lakh rupees for the same issue, and I am in appeal against both. So do I need to file a declaration one by one, or can I? Or do I need to file it simultaneously? How do I proceed?
Sir, may I?
Oh, please go ahead.
Yeah. In such a case, basically, one assessment means one assessment year, one return. Let us say qua return, or you have to settle all the appeals in one form. As in your case, basically the idea is very simple. As Patanjali sir said, that it will have to be decided on the basis of facts. But again, the thumb rule here would be that double taxation would be avoided. Yes. So there won't be double taxation on a single issue. You won't have to pay twice. So if there is an incremental addition of 5 lakh over and above 10, then the total amount of tax or total amount of disputed income that would be offered or that would be settled is 15 lakhs. Means, of course, entire amount will be settled, but the tax would be on 15 lakhs. So double taxation would not be arising. That is the thumb rule here.
Yeah, that part is correct, sir. The question was on procedure, so maybe considering
both the appeals, even if the penalty is there, even the penalties, all the appeals should be settled in one form.
And considering the time available, I think it will be advisable to file it in one go only, not to wait for the declaration to be complete for the first.
No, I would suggest that it is always advisable to include all the appeals of related cases for the penalty of this particular assessment in one form, because tomorrow you will have an issue that sometimes you might have procedural hurdles that this particular appeal you never offered for VSV, although the tax was paid and all those things. So it's always better and safer that you include all those appeals for settlement in one go, filing a single application. And you have options to add multiple appeals in Form 1, and please do so.
Fair
And
point,
please
sir.
ensure that if those appeals are also reflected in Form 3, in case you find any discrepancy in Form 3, please bring it to the notice of concerned PCIT. We can cancel the old Form 3 and issue you a new Form 3. That is also permissible.
Thanks, sir, for the clarification. We proceed to the next question, sir. And here we are contemplating a situation where there is a succession of one company by the other company. Say ABC Limited has merged into XYZ with effect from 1st April 2010, as the example says. Our understanding is that both the firms and there are appeals in both the cases. So our understanding says that till the date of that merger, we have to proceed with the old PAN of that assessee, the ABC Limited. And once the merger has taken place, then we for the litigations which are pertaining to the successor company, we proceed with the new company as the assessee. Is our understanding correct, or would you like to guide us in some further manner on this point, sir?
Damle,
Yeah. So in cases of mergers and acquisitions, you have I think utility on e-filing, wherein after the merger, in respect of the older companies, you can transport the PAN or I think add the PAN of the merged entity, so that the signatory of both the declarations would have to be the new entity. And once the earlier entity has merged into the new entity, there is only one entity as far as department is concerned. There may be appeals specific to the earlier company. So it has to be filed under the name and signature of the new entity. But before that, please ensure probably you would be having an idea as to how to proceed with linking the new entity with the earlier entities. There is a utility available. If not, please let us know. We will explain you how to go.
So this brings a better idea actually. This brings something which is I think more logical and more legal in the terms of the implementation of the scheme.
So we had faced these situations where people had filed VSV applications in the name and PAN of earlier entities, and then they were asked to revise those applications and file it under the PAN of the new merged entity. And after making use of this utility available on the e-filing.
I believe the same logic would also apply for a assessee who is deceased assessee, maybe, assessee who has expired and the legal representative is there. I think the same logic would probably apply.
Yes.
Am I correct,
right.
sir? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So the second question, question number 14, is in connection with a case, the similar case, the successor company, and the earlier company ABC Limited in our example was having a favorable order in favor, and therefore, considering the fact that now it is a one entity, as Damle sir said, there should not be any problem in the successor entity also claiming the benefit of that reduction in the rate, the 50% rate as compared to the normal rate, if there was a favorable order of the higher forums. I believe the same, logically, there should not be any difficulty just because the name is different of the company.
Well, benefits and harms both go together. That is what I personally feel. Yes. But I'm not very sure about this particular aspect, whether the benefits will pass on to the earlier company. But logically, what you are saying is right, because if the benefits of the merged entity also should percolate to all the entities of
because the issue remains same, sir. The question here is the same issue is there.
But then we'll have to examine the facts here before really giving the complete answer.
So if there are
logically you appear to be correct, but I cannot really say yes or no at this juncture on this particular question.
Fair point, sir. We'll have to probably seek some clarification from CBDT,
yes.
maybe.
Yes.
Sir,
Ketan,
just to Ketan, supplementary to Ketan. So such situation, do we approach PCIT with the specific facts and everything, Your Honor? How do you suggest?
No, Rajan, here I'll say it again. Anything which is already covered by the FAQ, still there are some confusion within those
Yes.
answers. We can always sit together and figure out what is the
Sure,
correct
sure.
interpretation. Anything which is not covered by the FAQ and which requires, a long drawn
Yes, yes, yes.
conclusions, it would always be better to get the clarification from the
Sure.
board.
No, sir, we are referring to the last question, what Ketan was
Yeah.
asking. Issue
Yeah,
is
it looks quite logical.
absolutely,
What Damle
absolutely,
is saying.
absolutely.
I would suggest, Mr. Vora, that as far as the filing of the applications is concerned, you should file the application.
That's right.
In any case, there are two columns when we issue Form 3. First is the arrears and the demand as per the declarant, and another set is as per authority.
Authority.
And what is payable is what is as per authority.
So, sir, I have one supplementary issue over here as far as the amalgamation, etc., are concerned. What happens even in the normal cases is that often the the mergers take place during the year. With the effective date is part of the year. So sometimes the tax paid up to that date is in the earlier PAN, and thereafter that PAN is no longer valid, in the sense the company is no longer in existence. And at this kind of cases, what happens to the tax payment with the second company, the resultant company is claiming, but it is lying in the 26 years of the earlier company. For the purpose of VSVS, because often in the assessment orders, in the intimation, these credits are not given. Then you keep on fighting, but you ultimately are not getting credit. In VSVS, how does one calculate what is the balance tax payable?
No. I don't think that there is any confusion whatsoever in such a situation. A tax once paid for an entity, the credit has to be given.
Yes.
There is no way that the department would not give the credit for the taxes paid. And that entity merged with the later one. You're dealing with very senior officers who are issuing the Form 3. I'm absolutely certain that in every case, you'll get the fair judgment.
We have actually handled this particular issue also, wherein the merger took place and the appointed date was in between the financial year, and some advance tax payments were there in case of earlier entities. And AO is empowered to give the credit of earlier entities into the merged entity. So all these things are being done, and can be very easily done.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sir, one more issue which arises, of course, in connection with that 50%, not the question, it is not, of course, mentioned in the question, but may I, if you permit, is that, when the Act, of course, says that it will be in a case where the issue is decided by the higher forums in my favor in any of the year. In the other years, I will get the concessional tax regime. So 50%, that is what the Act says. Somehow, I believe maybe some error maybe in the circular, which says that if the decision is in the earlier year, then in the later year I will get that. It may also happen that in the later year my appeal might have been decided earlier, possibly that later year's appeal is decided prior to the earlier year, and then in such a situation, because of the language of the circular, sir, there is some difficulty which I see. Logically, there should not be any difficulty because the Act says that yes, it doesn't refer to any earlier year or subsequent year. But when you refer the circular, there is some problem which is coming at least. So if at all, you can look into this.
Yes, sure. And also, in case if we find that your concern is valid and it is creating some confusion, then wherever this originates, the clarification has to be issued from there.
Yeah, so right,
sir. So you make a reference of this specific confusion, which is creating in your mind.
Absolutely, sir.
To the CBDT. I'm sure they'll be able to clarify.
Sure, sir. Sure. I think now I'll hand over to Sushil sir for the next question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ketan. Well, the next question, the next slide, please. Yeah, this deals with the TDS credits. There's a procedural issue in case of non-resident payers who are settling 201 proceedings. Now, as per FAQ 30, sir, of April 2020, which is again confirmed by FAQ 84 of the December circular, a deductee will get credit for TDS paid by the deductor on the date of settlement of the dispute. And payee will get the TDS credit generally when the payer will file his TDS statement under 200, section 200. The issues which arise are that in case of a non-resident payer, let's assume, having one-off transactions in India, what will be the procedure to settle the TDS appeal under the VSV, and how will credit be given to the payee? Because the circular and the FAQs do not envisage these type of situations where there is a non-resident payer involved and he wants to settle the dispute. What the FAQ says is that the credit will be given to the payee as on the date of settlement, and generally in practice, unless that statement is filed and it is reflected in 26 AS of the payee, credit is not given. So in case of non-resident payers, how will the credit be given to the payees? Any clarification, Damle ji?
Well, as far as the assessing officer is concerned, 26 AS would be something which is sacrosanct. In your case, if the non-resident really cannot wait till such time, then probably it's better to seek again clarification on this particular issue, because this is the question of intervening period or uncertainty on part of payment. There are two issues here. One is the payment having been made, not reflected in 26 AS. Another is payment not made at all. So these are the factual issues otherwise. But 26 AS reflection is something which is must for AO to grant credit.
Yeah, and a similar issue raised in B is that the payee as well as the payer are, let's say, non-residents, and TDS paid by the non-resident payer is the issue. Can the NR payee who filed nil return of income and is in appeal in the quantum proceedings simultaneously file a VSV application for taking TDS credit for the taxes paid by the non-resident? Like, would he be advised to also simultaneously file a VSV just to get a TDS credit? Because if the payer is filing a VSV, whether the payee should also simultaneously file, or it will be automatic, as you said, with a clarification from the board, maybe.
Yes, I think TDS procedural issues, because most of them would be actually procedural issues. So it's better to seek a clarification,
right,
as far as the TDS issues are concerned.
Right. Okay. And another question is about when a payer files his TDS statement after the settlement of TDS appeal, it may be levied mandatory fees under 234E, because 234E fees are on late filing of that statement, which is filed after the settlement. Whether in such situation, fees of 234E are also covered under the waiver of VSV, because late filing of the statement, he has not, let's say, deducted in time, and he's given now a declaration under VSV, and that has been settled. Then he has to file a statement, which obviously is apparently beyond time. So 234E gets levied post the declaration. Whether that also would not be levied in such a case, logically it should not be, but just a question.
I would say that better to get a clarification. But Mr. Lakhani, my one observation, my personal this thing is that all the NR taxpayers, it suits them so much better, staying away from the country and having some dispute is not a very pleasant thing to.
Absolutely.
So if we, somehow through this, you have a very large forum. So please, let's be a little proactive.
In fact, we are. In fact, sir, we are, and that's why we have even sent a representation to the CBDT to give some more time to them, because December. See, the foreign countries like Europe and US are in severe COVID problems, and December being Christmas and so many holidays for them. So you know, and there seems to be, from whatever feedback we are getting, there seems to be a lot of interest among them to file such declarations. Rajan bhai, you may add if you wish to.
Yes, sir. In fact, as I mentioned, we will forward you the representation sent to Finance Minister as well as to CBDT Chairman as to specifically reasons, because COVID situation in India, quote unquote, so far is now under control. But if we see the US and Europe, they are absolutely out of control. We must have seen the news reports as to things are just gone out of control. So when we approach to their headquarters or MNCs approach headquarters, there is no responses coming from them, and which is creating some difficulty because unless they give a sign off, Indian MNCs can't file anything. And in fact, we have been talking to all international tax commissioners, CCIT's international commissioners, various forums, and we are trying to propagate amongst various MNCs. But they are everybody saying that the question answers came on 4th of December, and a lot of things have been earlier. It's not questions have been asked now. Questions have been asked several times earlier, which Your Honor also see in October when we were discussing. Several questions are already pending at the board. But there are, in spite of the best efforts made by them, they had some difficulties in getting all through because so many pressures in the CBDT, government, everything, and raising resources and providing reliefs to all the COVID affected people. I think that was a top priority. This became a back burner. So therefore, our again representation made is please give us time. We'll cut off at 31st March. Merely filing in December and collecting tax till March, so long as we get taxes by March, should be fine enough. Whether we file now or file later on. So long as we achieve the target of 31st March, I think that should be reasonable for everybody. And then after the budget, CBDT, Finance Ministry also will be a little proactive in giving the answer. So Your Honors are aware, Finance Minister and Commerce Minister had come to the Institute's office, and the attendance was 75,000 people all over India, and out of which about 10,000 were non-residents. So Your Honors can just consider the popularity which the scheme had gained. But because of this 9 months gap, everything has become on back burner. So therefore, we need to give a little breathing time to everybody to reactivate this whole process. If Finance Minister, Commerce Minister addresses one or two conferences like this, there will be a lot of activity generated and things will move very quickly. And people, as you rightly said, sir, people are not in a mood to litigate. They are interested in settling and going ahead with their life, because they already suffered enough on COVID. So now nobody wants to suffer further with the litigation. And with the good schemes coming up, clarifications coming up, people want to buy the piece, proceed with the business. They want to concentrate on the business. So therefore, we have made a request, and I'll forward it to you. A very, very detailed representation we have made. So let's see how they respond to it.
Yeah. So what I would advise is that make one representation directly, one through us also.
Yes, sir. We will send it to you today itself. We'll forward the copy to you.
Yeah, yeah. And I hope you have made one earlier also to the board and to the ministry.
Rajan bhai, you are on mute.
Your Honor, we have made several representations of clarification.
Yeah. One more.
No, for extension, we will again make one more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you. Sushil, you want to proceed to Amit?
That's it.
Amit?
Yeah. So, sir, next question is relating to adjustment of refunds. You know, to illustrate with the help of an example, that in year 1, which is sought to be settled, there could be a refund situation because the taxes are paid along with the interest, etc. And in the year 2, there is a demand. So can the SSC adjust the refund for 1 year against the demand for the second year while determining the final amount payable? A. B, whether any other refund which has already been determined for something from third year or fourth year, can that be adjusted against this demand for the year 2? That is one question. And the other variant is that when a refund is due to the SSC for a dispute that is settled, what is the time limit for getting that refund ultimately, you know?
Yeah, so far, I think let's keep things simple. For wherever you have the refund, come to us. We'll try to issue it to you very quickly. And wherever the VSVS scheme, go for payment of the taxes. So I don't think that we have anything, any clarification on this. So to keep things simpler in the absence of any specific clarification, best thing to follow is in a matter where you are expecting a refund, and come to us. We will help you there. In case of lack of resources is any issue, and you have a refund, determined refund, we'll try to help you there, and so pay taxes separately. Right, Damle? Or do you think there is any other this thing available?
Oh, yes, sir. This is the way to keep it simple and to actually get it resolved.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will go on ledger pattern, and then it becomes more and more difficult.
Yeah, but one has to hope that there are officers like you in all other cities and charges. Because
let me assure you, in Mumbai, we are a team, and right from the top till the bottom, you would get the same.
No doubt about Mumbai. I am referring to other cities because we have our audience from various parts of the country.
Yes.
So, but anyway, yeah. Okay. So, so basically what you're saying is that wherever there is a demand payable, the entire amount should be paid. Wherever there is a refund due, whether for a VSPS year or for any other year, one should approach the authorities and try and get that refund expedited and not adjust each other intersay.
Yes, why complicate things?
Okay. With regard to refund, my very humble suggestion to all of you, I'm not speaking anything against the department, but many a times I see there is a specific provision or the portal which has been provided in the form of e-Nivaran. I've seen still people writing letters and emails for refunds. E-Nivaran is a very specific utility which is made available to address the grievances of the assessees, and it should be used. Otherwise, and that is something which is specifically monitored, and it's very regularly monitored, and it's very effective. So please do not send letters or emails. Use e-Nivaran. Everyone has got a dashboard right from the top to bottom, and they know what is the pendency, and they are very, very regularly monitored.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, sir. We have got this request from the department in the past also when we have had interactions, and we have conveyed to our members even otherwise apart from VSPS also. So point well taken. We will highlight this in our next communication to our members. Over to Sunil for the next question.
Thank you, Amit. The next couple of questions are more on practical issues. The first question is for cases which are pending before the High Court. As we know, it takes a long time for appeals to wind their way through the courts, maybe more than 10 years in several cases. By that time, the entire tax demand raised would have been paid because the tribunal would have decided. Now, here the practical difficulty is for tracing the records and the sums of taxes paid in the time available. If the supporting records are not there, then what would be the practical solution in cases like this?
Here, we have been dealing with this problem for last 30 years, I think. And this is a problem which you also have been dealing. But then things have really streamlined for last 10 years. I would say these are the problems which are handled in BSV, where the assessments, I have personally dealt with some cases for AY 98, 99, 97, 98. We have been able to find the records with a lot of efforts. In some cases, because these are the cases where appeals have traveled up to High Court, so records are definitely available. It is just that a little bit of extra effort is required to be made, little bit of extra push is required to be given to the officers, and because it cannot be the case that the record is not available in respect of a case where department or assessee is in High Court. It's only the effort required to trace it, and we have been able to couple of challans, couple of checks are always there which are missing. So we take appropriate decisions, and with the help of the assessee, some bank certificates and all those things, we are able to resolve these issues. Of course, they are difficult. I won't say that they are as straightforward as the newer cases, but then these are the issues which jurisdictional officers would be able to resolve.
Yeah, and then precisely for this reason, we would want, wherever people have made up their mind, they should file their form number 1 very quickly, because like we would have some time to address to these issues. If everything gets crowded in the last couple of days or some such thing, it'll be humanly not possible to do justice. So wherever people have made up their mind, I would request, please file the form 1 very quickly. We will resolve and we'll put in our best efforts to trace all these challans and everything, whatever is possible. Unless it is done now, or say in the next 2 to 3 days, it will be casting a tough burden on us. Yeah.
But in such cases, you also have to come up with some kind of other evidences in the form of appeal effect orders and ITNS, the demand notices which have been given to you later. Maybe the matter is before High Court, but then ITIT appeal might have been decided just 5 or 6 years back. So those are the kind of evidences which are also available and which will help your case of tax payments.
Right, sure.
Sir, very right, sir. Sir, very right what you, Damle sir and Patanjali sir, what you rightly said. But difficulties what are happening is while filling the form, dates of payment of taxes, that is not getting caught, which is what is creating problem. As you rightly said, ITNS is one of the source why which you can locate. But invariably what happens, matter is pending, succeed in tribunal, department, High Court, and the amounts get adjusted in subsequent years. So now that all those subsequent years payments, where you are made and adjusted, which is creating problem. In fact, we have worked with High Court lawyers and we told them, please give us a list of all the matters which are filed in the High Court. We'll advise them 10 year, 15 year, 20 years matters pending in the High Court. Why not settle it off and close it up? What will you get ultimately out of these cases? But the difficulty, all the cases we found, details how to fill up the forms, because details are not available about the payment. And I would absolutely, it will be Herculean task even for department to track their records from whether go down stores, wherever it is. Even assessors are finding it difficult because beyond certain years, they also don't store the records. It may be computerized, maybe an archived, but this is the difficulty which we feel. Otherwise, this was a good case to really sort out these cases and clear up all the High Court matters, because nothing is going to be recovered, nothing is going to be payable, because this is all so old matters. And ultimately, if it is gone against the assessee, the interest burden will be far higher than any tax payable also. So therefore, they are keen to dispose of, but now they are finding it difficult to how to dispose it of.
True. But try filing your form 1 quick.
Yes, sir.
You'll be surprised with our.
Sure. We will advise you. This is a good point, and we'll definitely. And that's why I say I was working with High Court lawyers to get the list of the cases which would.
Very sensible.
Absolutely.
Very sensible.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
The next question also is a practical issue. Suppose a taxpayer has filed his application declaration under BSV, and the response from the designated authority has not been received in time. Then is there any way to expedite it?
Yeah, I will give you some statistics. Since last, you see, practically post April. I mean, all the work has started only in the last 1 month, if I'm right. In 1 month, you would have seen the difference. I mean, whatever was pending has practically 70% of is disposed of. Whatever is coming now is also, people are attending to it. Everybody is doing their bit. Rest assured. That's again the same request. File it fast.
Sure, we'll keep in mind. Thank you. And can Ketan bhai please continue with the next set of questions?
Thank you, Sunilji. Sir, the next question is more on the rather an anxiety. Of course, with this COVID situation, this year 2020 now is because of the relaxations given from time to time. Now it is 2021. So up to 31st March 2021, sir, there will be no additional burden. Thereafter, there will be 10% additional. So apprehension and anxiety probably in the mind of the taxpayer is that what will be that outer date by which I will have to make the payment, even if I want to make the payment with interest. So
yeah, it is yet to be clarified by the board. It will come. It will come.
So therefore, I said it is more of an anxiety. We were, we were thinking that if we can get some feeler from your side, if we are having some idea, maybe.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, absolutely correct, sir. So I think that's fair. The next issue, sir, is about declarations which have been filed and before March 2020. I may not be, there might be many very few of them which might have been filed in those days because this act was enacted on 17th March. So up to 31st March, there might be many very few, but if at all there are some declarations which are filed. And post that declaration, the AOs have adjusted the subsequent year's refunds or some other year's refunds against this the demand. So in such a situation, sir, do we want the assessee to file a fresh declaration now, considering that the disputed tax has gone down, or do we want that the form will be taking care of it when the certificate will be issued? That will be taken care by the department officer, or maybe Form 3 will have to be revised. What is the way out, sir?
Well, in these cases, please rest assured when we are issuing Form 3, on that day, we are checking for whatever payments have been made or collected or adjusted against the disputed demand. So, as I said earlier, in the Form 3, there are two columns. One is regarding the tax payment by the assessee, which is filled by the assessee, and another is the tax payment as per the department. So many a times, of course, I doubly check on that. When assessee writes X amount and our officers say 2X, but it happens. So many a times it happens that you are showing lesser amount and actual tax payment that we are giving credit for is higher. And it is on account of these kind of adjustments. So rest assured, this is being taken care of by the
So
department.
even if, so as we understand,
to
even
file
if the,
anything extra.
yeah, sorry. So even if the assessee has missed out, probably, even if the assessee is not aware, many a times it so happens, sir, that assessee is also himself not aware also that adjustment because of lack of communication. It does happen, sir, that the refunds are adjusted, but the assessee is not communicated for whatever reason. It might happen. So in such a situation, I think the department is vigilant enough to take care of that, and they are giving that credit. That is what I understand, sir.
Yes, you're right.
One more thing is that.
Yeah, that's really great. I think someone has to add something. Yeah, please.
No, ma'am has to answer something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I am aware that all the principal commissioners, wherever there is a mismatch between what the assessee has given as his computation and what we find, we are invariably sending them an email seeking reconciliation. That we are also trying to understand why this mismatch has occurred. So if you could quickly respond to those emails and give us those details, we will be able to give a more correct Form 3. And I think there is also some section under which any inadvertent error can be corrected later. I think section 5 or something is there for Form. So that is also there. So yeah, as part of the scheme. So rest assured, any inadvertent error that does creep in, that will also be addressed.
That is precisely the next question which we are dealing with the Form 3. So so somehow we are going to that question itself, where Form 3 is done and there is a error in that. The assessee feels that there is an error. Can the assessee request for a revised Form 3? So I believe you already answered, madam, that yes, that revision of Form 3 is possible. Only issue which remains is this, madam, that in such a situation, if I want to approach for that revision in Form 3 post 31st December 2020, whether the window will be still available or it will be all closed on 31st December 2020, VSV window will be closed completely. That is the procedural part of it actually.
So to save from that awkward situation, let's file the forms now.
No, sir, we'll try to do that, but given that Rajan Bhai, I would not repeat what Rajan Bhai has been emphasizing.
No, but I'll tell you a logical thing. I mean, of course, even if it is being recorded, I can go on record. I don't really mind.
Please, sir.
Let us think of a situation where the Form 1 is filed on the last day.
Last day, yeah, last day.
Still, the Form 3 will come even after that, I'm sure.
Fine. So to understand,
it is logical.
Yeah, this question has come up from.
Not that I have any communication from the board to this effect, but I think it is logical.
It should continue naturally because this is one of the apprehension of the member.
With regard to regard to the revised form, this is not similar to a revised return. So every revised form under VSV is a fresh form, wherein the earlier form gets cancelled. So we are not revising the earlier form. Actually, it shows up as a revised form, but it is a fresh form and the earlier form becomes non-actionable. So it is a fresh form. broadly. And
It
earlier form becomes non-existent.
relates back to the earlier date.
So for you, it remains, no, it doesn't date back. It remains. It shows as filed on that particular day when you are filing. So 31st December is the last date for filing the fresh form.
Yes.
And so the revised form, as you say.
Right. So from
31st December as the last date.
Yes.
As of now.
Yes, madam. Yes, absolutely right. I think
good one, madam. I appreciate as of now.
I would request Amit Bhai to please take the proceedings further. Amit Bhai?
Okay, this is
next to Sushil.
I think the next is my query.
Okay,
sorry. A very simple, small query. Basically, trying to inquire what steps are being taken to streamline the records. You know, once these declarations are accepted, an example has been given in the question, and which basically means that my interest has been waived. So with the database and the records of the department would be updated to reflect such a waiver, and in how much time? Like, is there some step being taken for that?
Yeah, I think this happens simultaneously. Definitely. So if the waiver is there, let me check on this, but logically it should be done simultaneously. Otherwise, how on earth would you, locate that interest and again pass a rectification order? Should be done, but nonetheless, I'll check on this.
Thank you.
We will.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Next question to Amit.
No, I think Sunil has to take up the question. Sunil?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So this basically relates to a small technical issue. In case where the SSC has succeeded in the appeal proceedings and the department has gone further in appeal, say to the tribunal, then actually there will be no demand pending. And there, if the SSC proceeds under VS3 and pays the amount that is payable, 50% of the amount in dispute, then the FAQ says that to adjust the amount, the AO will pass a rectification order under section 154. And the demand will then be adjusted and the payment will then be adjusted against that demand created. Here we had two issues. One is whether such a rectification can actually be done under section 154, which is limited to correction of mistakes apparent from the record. And secondly, even if it can be done, what about cases where the 4-year time limit has been passed and the rectification is time barred?
Yeah, Damle.
Well, FAQ is in the form of the guideline from the government. So now means under the residual powers, the power to remove exceptional difficulties is always there. So the concept of 4 years and all those things, when it is coming to the removal of difficulties, that is an inbuilt power which is given to the delegated legislation. So the means executive is empowered to really deal with such cases. So we will be bound by FAQ and not to talk. And in any case, it is a beneficial provision for the assessees. So we cannot really find any lacuna with this.
Okay, thank you. So back to Rajan Bhai to continue.
Yeah, sir, I think we had a wonderful session and looks that there are questions, but their questions are too specific. So it will be too difficult for us to analyze and give it to your honors and ask the questions now. And it will be also may not be appropriate for us to, without any supporting material, to ask you to answer those questions. So what we'll do is on behalf of all the questions who have been raised, not to disappoint them, there have been large number of people who are attended to this conference and asked the questions. We will tabulate those questions and send it to your honors. So as early as possible, if there are questions which could be answered, we'll immediately circulate to them. So it will be also, they will also feel at least that 0.7 attended, like in your clinic or the cell what you have created, sir. Yes. It will be useful to do that because there are about 62 questions have come, and I do not want to bombard your honors with the 62 questions.
No.
And so that will be better, so that instead of asking questions one by one, it will be. And also we have also to stretch the time beyond 5, so we didn't want it to because you have also so many commitments. So with that, I think what we'll do is we'll wind up. I will just request our Bombay Chamber team to conclude the session or propose a concluding remarks, and then we can come. Rajashree, who you will be taking up?
No, Rajan Bhai, this is Pinky Mehta. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, Pinky.
Good evening, everyone. And we are thankful on behalf of all the 4 chambers to Shri Patanjali Ji Ja, Miss Lekha Kumari Ji, Shri Abhay Dalmia Ji for wholeheartedly, accepting our invitations and addressing to the queries, the practical issues and the procedure issues which we have raised. So you rightly said that this is one of the best schemes which has come in India. But due to this unforeseen pandemic, we have not been reached to the success what we have envisaged at the time of the budget. So our request is what Rajan Bhai has said, that if you can extend this scheme till 31st of March, in order to, the taxpayers take the benefit of these schemes, and it is advisable and it is in the interest of the country for the time and the resources that all the pending litigations which are pending almost from last 15-20 years, they come to an end and people move forward. So it is and the other thing is that we are so thankful to you that you are reaching out with your the relentless efforts and the persistent efforts to make this scheme successful. You are reaching out to various forums and trying to encourage the taxpayers to take the benefit of this, one of the best kind of such a scheme which has come here. And on behalf of all the 4 chambers, we are thankful that you have been very, very supporting and very, very encouraging. And we will be, the questions which has been unanswered, we will be sending you all the queries. And please take us our voice that definitely the taxpayer also wants to take an advantage of the scheme. Because of this pandemic, we have not been able to. So if the scheme is extended till 31st of March, I think it will make us a great success. Thank you, sir.
So thank you very much.
I would say, Rajan, I would only say a small thing that whether extended or not, let's make a grand success of it.
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
no,
lighter when I say only should not be only to benefit to PSUs. We also want to take a benefit.
100%.
So thank you very much. And we really look forward for the continued support from you. And we will try our best, all the best to whatever best possible to see that whatever before 31st December, how much possible we'll do it, and whatever is required to be done. We'll be always be helpful here. And grateful to for all of you for sparing your time and answering all the queries what we have raised. But remaining queries, as Pinky Ben and everybody said, we will not be able to share with you immediately. We'll share it with them. Thank you very much, and we look forward for continuing.
Thank you. Look forward.
Thank you.
Just one
Thanks,
moment.
everyone. Thanks to my fellow colleagues. Thanks.
Rajan Bhai, on behalf of all the participants, I request the learned officials to slowly repeat the email IDs that they mentioned during their talk, because many people have asked us for repetition.
Sure.
No, so Amit, I think what we should do is Madam has promised us to send the email IDs. We will share that email IDs to all the participants.
No, correct. But if we can just mention it,
No, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Sure.
I'll repeat it slowly.
Yes.
VSV. VSV 2020 MUM @gmail.com. So I repeat, VSV 2020 MUM @gmail.com, and the WhatsApp number. Yeah, correct. And WhatsApp number is 720 8300 457. I wish we had a simpler number.
Absolutely. Lekha Madam, we would like to share that appeal sites also. It will be good. We can note it down immediately, as Amit said.
I'm forwarding it to you, Rajan Bhai.
Okay.
But if you want me to read it out, I'll just read it out again.
Any one or two you can read out. So since we are already taken
simple, Delhi, DELHI.PCCIT.NFAC @incometax.gov.in. Delhi.gov.in.
Can we repeat, ma'am?
Yes.
It is there.
It is
coming.
correct.
Delhi.pcit.incometax.gov.in. Second one is delhi.cit.nfac@incometax.gov.in. And the third one is delhi.addl.cit.nfac@incometax.gov.in. So there are two reasons you could send emails. One is for filing of request for withdrawal of appeal. And the second is if your condonation application was filed before the 4th of December during the period specified in that answer, then you can seek the acceptance of the same.
Sure. I think it's very good.
So, Rajan bhai, I am forwarding these to you also.
Absolutely,
so
ma'am.
share it with your members.
We will immediately circulate. Grateful to your honors. I think it was great program and great information. So we'll grateful to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks to all the delegates. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ये बड़ा टाइमली हमको ना ये संबित ने दिल्ली से बात कर लिया and I got this because this is a very very practical problem और yeah they were very nice, बहुत अच्छे से हो गया. And Abhay again very well handled. He speaks very well. So oh shit.